how do they sell a bill if some of their biggest selling points are now getting cut out?
A CNN host and panel, to my surprise, expressed real disappointment over Biden's gutted budget bill. Now, this is going to be Kate Bolduan, the host, and Gloria Borger, a political analyst at CNN, both expressing serious disappointment over what was stripped out of this bill. Check this out.
Gloria, I mean, Democrats are now talking about dropping paid family leave. I mean, this is something that Biden campaigned on. This is something Biden spoke specifically to when he laid out details of what was going to be in the deal during the CNN town hall. And if it's now dropped, I mean, how do they sell a bill if some of their biggest selling points are now getting cut out?
You know, just before I came on the air, Kate, I was talking to a senior advisor to Bernie Sanders, and he put it to me this way. He said, we're in danger of having a bill defined more by what's not in it than by what's in it. Particularly if you do drop this family and medical leave.
No, that advisor is not wrong.
No, he's totally right. I mean, Jen Psaki tweeted about the bill and used family and medical leave as one of her 3 key ingredients to what's so important. It's a cornerstone of what Biden has been talking about. And I'm told that in the meeting with Bernie Sanders, the president, wasn't thrilled, obviously, but he's looking at the reality and saying, look, we got to get something done. I think in a way he's more aligned with where Sanders is personally. But of course, that doesn't matter because he's got to get something passed. And now I think he doesn't look strong. He looks as if he's just trying to find something, anything. It's a complete mess.
So this is pretty big from a network that tends to only criticize Biden if he doesn't go further right. Look at Afghanistan for an example. But this is different. And maybe it's because of public polling. Maybe it's because there was finally at least a bit of a discussion about the influence of money on politics when it came to Sinema and Manchin and how and why they are working to strip out all these provisions in that budget bill. But whatever the reason, they're actually being honest here in this discussion. Now, I'll show you in a minute, that isn't the only CNN narrative. In fact, they are already, at least in writing, beginning to blame progressives. But before I get there, I also want to mention the part about Bernie Sanders, because this they kind of told on themselves with this comment here, where Gloria Borger brings up comments from Bernie's advisor, and the CNN host comes in and says he's not wrong. They have to almost having to clarify that in fact this Bernie adjacent person is in fact right, because they are so used to disparaging Bernie Sanders. They have to clarify when they agree with something that is coming from the Bernie camp. I mean, that it shows you how often they go after him as opposed to siding with him. This is a rare example of them actually siding with Bernie. And really, largely, it's because they think, and I guess I kind of believe this as well, though he doesn't show it in his fight, that Biden is also with these policies. Biden, I think would have liked to see family leave pass, but the issue being, of course, that Biden did not fight for it. So it's hard to actually believe that Biden cared that much about it, because he didn't really fight Manchin the way he could have, using sticks, using his daughter, who should be investigated over the EpiPen scandal. I mean, that's something that he could have dangled out there in front of Manchin, being like, hey, if you don't support my budget bill, I may just go after your family. And I know that may sound crazy to some of you, but it's no different than what previous presidents have done when trying to get their agenda passed. So Biden could have done that. He didn't. He could have used similar tactics with Kyrsten Sinema, though with Sinema, it's a little tougher because who knows what she actually wants. She may just be looking for a cushy corporate job. She may want to leave the Senate in the next several years before her reelection. She may want to switch to being an independent or a Republican. So I think it's harder to get her on board with some of these things than it is to get Manchin, especially when you have the ability to go after Manchin for as example, his daughter. But yeah, so still, it was good to see that. But let me just share this here, because this is what you would normally expect from CNN. Alex Koch here tweeting out, here's CNN's framing of Dem legislative fight. It'll be the fault of progressives who are defending Biden's agenda and sticking to a plan agreed on months ago, not of 2 senators who are gutting that agenda if Congress doesn't pass a husk of a formally strong bill. So as CNN writes here, if progressives don't eventually come aboard, even if they are dissatisfied with the compromises made to get the package through the Senate, they could inflict huge damage on Biden's already wobbling presidency. How can you possibly blame progressives here when they have been siding with Biden's agenda, the Build Back Better agenda, Biden's campaign promises in that agenda this entire time? And it's Manchin and Sinema that have been campaigning or pushing against that and gutting the bill. But it's almost like riding a bicycle for them. They are so used to doing this one way that they can't even envision blaming anybody else. It's got to be the fault of progressives. Now, I don't watch CNN 24/7, so I'm not sure if this is the narrative they're also running with on television as well, but I wouldn't be surprised. Even though, they showed there some disappointment about what is not in the bill. When it comes to midterms, I guarantee you, CNN, MSNBC, other liberals are going to basically claim that progressives have to jump on board. They have to pretend that this was a fantastic, that Biden got a lot done. And in the effort of helping the Democratic Party, which, look, I understand. Yes, of course, you don't want Republicans in there. But when you don't deliver for people, you can't expect them to show up and vote for you, especially young people, when it comes to climate change. Sure, there's a bigger investment into climate change this time, but there's still a lot that was taken out of the bill on climate change. Not to mention, of course, everything else they mentioned there: family leave, billionaire tax, Medicare expansion to include vision and dental, hearings in there. I guess that's okay, but vision and dental, giving people eyesight and teeth, that's too far. So, but they're all going to jump behind Biden at the end of all of this, because ultimately it's really about a game for them. It's more about winning. It's more about a team sport than it is about actually helping people. That said, during these legislative fights, it's rare to see this kind of pushback on a bill that doesn't go far enough. And it was good to see that.